Welcome to the HEARTS Entwined podcast. In this podcast, we'll be having discussions around the secrets which attract lasting, healthy, fulfilling relationships, creating a healthy mindset, and what women should know and understand about men. Introducing your host, Lyn Smith, the Queen of Hearts, relationship expert, trainer, speaker, and best-selling author of the Cupid's Bow technique. Lyn's mission is to have a positive impact in reducing divorce, domestic violence, and suicide.
Welcome to the Hearts Entwined podcast. This is your host, Lyn Smith, the Queen of Hearts. And I'm excited today, listeners, to tell you I've got a lovely lady. Her name is Svietlana Lavrentidi, and she is a soulmate alchemist. Now, that's quite an intriguing title, isn't it? So she's all about helping you to manifest your soulmate. So welcome, Svietlana.
Thank you, Lyn. It's so great to be here. I'm very excited to see where the show takes us today.
Me too. So we're going to be talking about manifesting your soulmate. But before we get into that, just tell the audience a little bit about yourself and what actually attracted you, or what made you go into this as an area to help people around.
So I used to actually teach business networking skills. I used to run Entrepreneurial Women's Network, which became the largest female meetup in Europe in just 6 months back in London. And that was quite an adventure. Then I got married, and it's a very long story, but I basically ended up in quite an abusive relationship where I ran for my life. I ended up running away, being on a hideout for a while. My ex was stalking me. So I then gave up my network. I literally just gave it away. I stopped anything I was doing actively on social media, closed down half of my social media accounts. And I was scared for my life. I was terrified that he'll find me, and I didn't know what he's going to do. So I went back to accounting and finance, which used to be my background. And I worked in accounting for a few years until I went through all the internal work, and I met my now husband, which turned out really well. And I also took my mom through her divorce, and which was another, war zone. And I've realized at a certain point that, firstly, I was really good at relationships. I could tell upfront how a relationship is going to end. I went on hundreds of dates, like definitely more than 100, like I don't know how many dates I went on, but really a lot of dates. And I realized that I was really good at dating and I enjoyed it a lot. Like, while all the people would say, oh, dating sucks, I hate all these apps, I actually really enjoyed it. So I started giving tips and advice to family, friends, and I was getting really fed up with my corporate job. It was absolutely toxic. So I left my job a couple of years ago and decided to pursue anything to do with relationships. On that journey, while I was going through some, other things, I was in severe depression and helping my mom dealing with her divorce. I basically discovered, didn't discover, but rediscovered my spirituality. And I combined the two. I took spiritual path, manifestation, laws of the universe, combined that with relationships, dating, and so on. I've discovered how I attracted my first husband and why I had to go through that path. I've also kind of figured out why my mom went through what she went. And on that path, I started noticing other parallels and patterns in other people's relationships. And that's how I came about to attracting my own soulmate, getting married. The rest is history. So Here I am.
Thank you so much for being vulnerable and courageous enough to share your story, Svietlana. It's, it sounded horrific in the start, but usually what I've found is our mess becomes our message, doesn't it?
That's right. Yes.
And we become experts on the back of going through it all ourselves and figuring out how we resolved our own lives. And then we become, you know, the wise person for other women or men, whoever it might be, to reach out to help them not have to go through so much themselves. But sometimes we do actually need to go through that, don't we, before we actually find the person that's the right person to lead us on to the next stage of healing and then leading a happier, healthier life.
That's right. And I was actually literally, I think about a week ago, I was having a conversation, and I was thinking how if I didn't go through what I went through with my first husband, I would probably not meet my current husband, because there were so many lessons I had to go through, so many learning moments. You know, being raised in an abusive household, my father was very abusive towards my mom, so I had a lot of internal traumas that I had to overcome before I could meet the right kind of person, attract the right kind of person. So if I didn't meet that man, and if I didn't go through all that, I probably wouldn't be ready to meet him now. It would probably take me another 10 years or so, you know. So yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. So manifesting your soulmate, then, when you talk about that as being one of your areas of expertise, what would you like to share with the audience about that?
Well, to start with, people need to really understand what they truly want. I've noticed that a lot of times you meet people and they have no idea what they want, or maybe they try, well, maybe they do know, but they try not to tell you and not to be upfront. And I believe that honesty is the key. You need to be absolutely honest with what you want, because you cannot lead people on. You know, even if you want a different kind of thing from what they want, you still need to be honest so that nobody wastes each other's time.
Absolutely. And what I've found is that people quite often are focused on what they don't want rather than what they do want.
That's right. And that's how you partly attract what you don't want, because if you focus on the wrong thing, that's what you attract by the law of attraction, as you would know. So that's one thing. The other thing, you have to take action. Numerous women I spoke to who would say something like, oh, I really want to meet my soulmate, or I really want to meet a good man. And then they really don't want to go out and meet anyone, you know? So I don't know, I think they just want him to show up out of nowhere. But you have to take action, and action is part of manifestation. It's the biggest part of manifestation and the most important one. No matter how much you sit and visualize and do manifestation, you know, use manifestation tools, or I don't know, try to think it into reality, even if you write all the things out about what you want in your partner. If you don't take action, if you don't actually go out and meet people, you won't be able to find the right person. So that's another very important step to take.
It would be like, you know, wanting to create great wealth and sitting on your couch and expecting a bag of money to fall on your head.
Exactly. And I think this is the biggest misconception in the world of manifestation and the law of attraction, because if you have seen The Secret, or if you read the book, it all is based on actually visualizing and thinking it into reality, and it only little bit kind of covers where they went out and did something, but it doesn't actually focus on the whole action steps, you know, and that's the biggest part of it. You have to take action. With whether it's money, whether it's a partner, whether it's something else,
Help.
You have to do it. Yes. Exactly. Help. Yes.
So what would be the first action steps that, you know, our listeners could take, that you would be happy to share?
The first steps would be, well, first figure out what you really want. If you don't know what you want, then well, anything will be attracted that will prove to you what you don't want, what you shouldn't have. You attract all sorts of scam and you know, wrong people. And the other very important step is to go over what happened in your past and to clear all the baggage, get rid of all the limiting beliefs, figure out what happened in your past that is holding you back. With a lot of people, they notice that they keep dating the same kind of person in a different body, and they say it's like, I keep meeting the same kind of person, it's always the same thing, and they give up, and they say like, oh, I give up on love, maybe it's not for me, or they say something like, all men are the same, or all women are the same. But it isn't true. It's just you attract this kind of people because of the trauma, the something. Basically, we have this law of mirrors, and the mirror is something that, like, when you look at somebody else and you don't like it, but it's something that you haven't accepted within yourself, which is very often connected to your past traumas or past negative experiences, etc. So you need to figure out where that comes from. Where is the root of it? And when you figure it out, it's half the job is done. Then you need to ensure that you are not repeating the same cycle of patterns, because patterns will keep showing up until you heal yourself. And once you're healed, then you can move on and attract the right kind of person.
I think as an example, it could be like, a woman comes to you and says, I keep attracting men who are cheaters. They always cheat on me. So then you have that mindset where you have that belief that men will always cheat on you. And then subconsciously, you create that as a self-fulfilling prophecy because that's what you're expecting to happen.
That's right. That is absolutely right. There are even cases when there is a person who is very jealous, and they'll keep, throwing a tantrum and, fighting with a partner without even any proof that the partner is cheating. And then at some point, the partner becomes so, fed up that he or she goes and cheats, just to kind of like, well, if they're getting all that mess in the household anyway, they might as well go and do it, So it is just, you need to be mindful about things that you do, that you say, that you think, that you feel. And if you're thinking or feeling self-destructive prophecies, then you have to do something about it. You need to figure out where it comes from. Why do you feel that way? And it's internal work. It's firstly always internal work to attract anything into your life. You have to work on yourself first.
Absolutely. And if, that has been your experience and you have, as an example, had multiple relationships where somebody has cheated on you. So your evidence for that is that, that's been your experience. And know that somewhere along the line, you've been contributing to attracting that experience. So it's getting yourself out of that victim mindset and thinking to yourself that, what going forward can I choose to think and believe and focus on that's going to change that for me?
That's right. But it's very difficult when you're in that mindset to actually realize that it's your doing, and it's very difficult to accept the fact that you're in charge, and because you're thinking this way and feeling this way, you're actually attracting that. Most of the times people don't want to take responsibility for that. And I understand why. It's if you're not used to it,
it's not a criticism of anybody listening to this that might be experiencing something like that. You don't know what you don't know until you do, right?
Exactly. It's hard. It's always very hard to take those first steps and to even see something you don't see. It's like when I was there with my ex-husband, and whatever was happening, I didn't really see it until at the point when he started, nearly pushing me, hitting me down the hole when I was falling around. And I remember that moment. I felt like I had these pink glasses on and they just fell off. He just snubbed them out of me. And that's how I saw what was happening. And I grabbed my passport, my laptop, my documents, and I ran, But until you see it, sometimes we are so caught up in our daily lives that we just cannot see it. No matter how many times somebody will tell us, no matter how many times, something keeps repeating itself, it's until a certain point when you are ready to see it.
Yes. It's usually in hindsight, isn't it? We see all the red flags that everybody else was probably pointing out to us beforehand. you suddenly
Exactly.
see what it
And
really is.
it's yeah, and usually something very traumatic has to happen for us to actually realize it. And a lot of people, even after that, do not realize it. It's just that pattern of behavior again, and thinking in a certain way. Now, when you start working on your subconscious mind and reprogramming yourself, and introducing new patterns of thoughts, that's when you start getting a little bit more open-minded. When you're generally open to start looking, and when you're asking, perhaps your spirit guides and angels, or gods, or anyone who you're working with. If you're religious, you ask God, to help you find the root of all of that, and you're open to possibilities. That's when you're getting ready to see where the issue is, and then you're more likely to see it when maybe you're talking to someone, or when maybe you're doing that personal work with yourself, or there will be an opportunity when something will happen again and lead you to see it. So yeah.
Yeah, and it's a very true saying that where focus goes, energy flows. So if we are focused on negativity and negative thoughts, then that's what you're going to attract, isn't it?
Exactly. One point. Yeah, energy is everything. We are made of energy. So, the energy you approach something with, or the energy you put into your thoughts. So like our thoughts, they cause our way of feeling, which means that the energetic vibration that we emit, and that attracts the very similar to it vibration, because the universe doesn't understand things the way we do. It doesn't understand things in like the words, or it's usually the vibration. That's why even like people sometimes who do work with spirit guides, or they talk to spirits, often they well, not often, but like, I guess depending how long they've been doing this work, but sometimes they cannot read the information correctly. They read it the way they read it, but it's like a broken phone a little bit. So it might not be exactly what you think it is. It's your perception of it, until you are used to receiving correct information, or how you receive it, and that when this pops into your mind, it means that. So yeah, it's all about the energy and the vibration that we emit and receive.
Yeah, because I mean, if you're a person that looks through the lens of fear, worry, doubt, distrust, you're going to receive and experience and act very differently to somebody who's coming from a place of love, abundance, faith, and trust.
Exactly. I've experienced that. I mean, as we talk about relationships, I've experienced a lot of that, because no matter what happened to me, I mean, okay, so once that happened with my ex-husband, first I was depressed, I was scared, and I was going through a lot of negative things. But very soon I started believing that no, everything's going to be okay. I can have the future. So first I thought, that's it, my future is over. Nobody will ever love me again. And then I was like, no, I'm going to be fine. And actually a friend of mine helped me, because when he was helping me out to hide those moments when my mom was away. So I stayed with his family, and he said, Svietlana, are you kidding me? You're amazing. You'll get a man very easily. And I started getting that boost, of confidence. And the very next thing that happened, I found myself that job, and I moved in I actually rented a room while I was at that job. And the person who I was staying with, I was his lodger, right? So my landlord, he was a similar age, and he really liked me. We started dating, and then he proposed to me. So it's like right after that. Unfortunately, that didn't work. Well, fortunately, it didn't work out. And I moved on from that soon. But then straight after that, the next person I started dating, well, almost next. I had some dates in between, but then very soon after, I met my now husband. And because I wasn't thinking that, oh, my life is over. While I know a lady who had one really negative experience, a lot of bad things happen, and she just gave up altogether. She just doesn't want to accept that she can have a happy life again. She separated with her boyfriend long term. They were together, and that's it. She just won't accept it, and that's the reality she's creating. She's very lonely. She doesn't have a man in her life. She's not happy about it, but because she concentrates on not being happy, that's exactly what she attracts in her life. It's more loneliness, more being, not happy, and more of alone time until she is ready to accept something better into her life.
And it's again that person that's living from that place of fear, and quite often it, when it comes to relationships, it's that fear of being hurt, and it's knowing that that could be a possibility, but doing it anyway, isn't it?
Exactly. Well, what do you have to lose? If you're already alone, if you already had a broken heart, what do you have to lose? You can't, okay, it can sometimes get worse, but how much worse? It's not gonna go terribly if you're conscious and if you're improving yourself and working on everything, and if you're seeing the red flags, it can only get better from there. So just be daring, just go out and live your life to the fullest, and know that the possibilities are endless.
As the saying goes, feel the fear and do it anyway, because like you say, when you start changing your mindset and working on yourself, you will naturally attract better quality people. And it might not be like you said, you dated 100 people or more, and so that all those were guys that excluded themselves from your life for one reason or another, and it doesn't mean they were bad men or bad relationships. They just weren't the right fit for you, but you didn't take it personally. I suppose if they rejected you, you just took it that okay, this isn't the one.
Exactly. Yes, I just went with an open mind to have fun. Each date I took as an opportunity to get to know people, to see what people are like, what they're looking for, and to better myself. How do I get better at dates? How do I get people to like me? Start noticing what men like, what they don't like. If see what I like and what I dislike. If he doesn't message back or call back, how long passes before he does, or if he doesn't at all, what could have I done wrong? Just look at myself. It's self-reflection, what's happening there, and just have a good time, because we might go for a meal or a drink or whatever, have a nice conversation, and even part ways. And I've had a lot of dates like that. I remember I once met a guy, and we went on a date. And he said, "Oh, I actually just got a bonus at work. So let's go and spend it. Let's go and to a nice restaurant or whatever." We had the most amazing time. I knew that it's not going to go anywhere. He probably did as well, because he didn't call as well. We parted ways and said, "Thank you very much. This was amazing." And that's it, and it was a great experience. I still remember, I don't even remember his name, but I remember I had a nice experience like that with a stranger. And it's beautiful,
I love that you went into your dates with such an open mind, and just to have a bit of fun and enjoy it regardless of whether there was a deeper connection or not.
Exactly. Yeah, I still love dating, so I think it's amazing. So yeah, I think everybody should date a little bit more.
Yes, absolutely, I agree. So Svietlana, so for those listeners that would like to connect with you, what's your best contact?
Contact me through any social media. Just if you put my name, Svietlana Lavrentidi, I come up everywhere. Or my website, svietlana.com, which is SVIETLANA.com. You can contact me there, or any social media. It's very easy.
All right, so lovely. So final thoughts then about what was your worst date and what was your best date?
Oh my God. My worst date. I can't even think what was the worst date. I don't even remember, to be honest. I guess I've been so open to all the opportunities that I kind of haven't really thought about it.
Real horror stories then.
I don't think there was anything that bad. I mean, there were some not so pleasant experiences, but nothing like super bad. So nothing like I would be running away and hiding from a man or something. So nothing scary like that. I guess the
Which was
best
great,
one.
because I suppose your worst one was probably your first husband then, in that respect.
Yeah, so it's actually well, as my husband told me, that it seems that I'm really good at sitting through profiles and meeting and realizing early on who to go on a date with and who not to go on a date with. So it seems that way. I mean, maybe when I was younger, there was something, but I wouldn't remember. I've been dating since I was about 17, 18 years old. So that's been almost 20 years of dating.
Dating sites that you'd recommend?
I actually quite liked Hinge in UK. That was a fairly decent one. I didn't enjoy Tinder, but I know several people who met on Tinder, and I was at a wedding of a couple who met at Tinder. So it actually works as well. Bumble is not bad. Not too bad, although in UK it was so, but I've noticed that people who travel a lot and go on Bumble, they I don't know, they seem to be there more. I remember there was Cupid. I think Cupid's okay. Cupid in UK was okay as well, so I assume that that's in US is they all work as well.
Yeah.
I think those ones would be the main ones. And there is the paid website, which is Elite Singles. I haven't managed. I met my husband before that, but a friend of mine met her long-term boyfriend now there. He was like the first person she started talking to, and they've been living together for, I think, 2 or 3 years now, since COVID. Yeah, they were in each other's bubble during COVID. So that worked out really well for her. So I think Elite Singles might be good.
Excellent. Well, thank you for sharing that. Obviously, we always have to be careful to tell people to be mindful of any potential scammers on dating sites. You know, anybody that ever asks you for any money, please take that as a huge red flag that they might not be who they say they are, and they might just have stolen somebody's pictures and ID and put on the site regarding that.
Yes, 100%. And if they talk to you and they talk, and then they disappear, don't take it personally. It's nothing to do with you. Is with their own insecurities, and they have their own issues. So because I know a lot of people get discouraged by ghosting, but it's nothing to take personally. Yeah.
So I suppose our general advice is then just if you want to choose online dating with an open mind and with the thought that, you know what, I'm just going to have fun and see who shows up.
Exactly. And if you find that you know that you're really not feeling comfortable and you've been getting a lot of really weird people and you're not very happy, I mean, get in touch, because I've met all sorts of people. I just don't judge them for who they are, but I can help you see things differently and maybe even analyze your date and tell you what you might have done right or wrong, or how to work through your next date, and or analyze your messages. So I can do all of that for you. Well, with you, of course, not just for you.
Brilliant.
Have to do it together.
All right, Svietlana, thank you so much. It's been a fascinating conversation, and hopefully we'll be doing more going forward.
That would be great. Thank you so much for having me. It's been exciting, and hope it's been helpful to your listeners.
I'm sure it has. You're very welcome. So it just leaves me to say that true love starts with opening our hearts. And until next time, goodbye for now.
Thanks for listening to the Hearts Entwined podcast. You can follow Lyn via the Facebook group 2 Hearts Entwined, or search Lyn Smith, inspirational speaker, at LinkedIn, or email lyn@hearts-entwined.com. That's LYN@hearts hearts-entwined.com. Remember, true love starts with opening our hearts.